Good morning, everybody. Happy Monday. Thank you for joining 10 Minutes to Get More. And congratulations for starting your week off right. Today, I have a really special guest joining me who will join the stage in just a moment. But first, you might be wondering what this taxiing thing means that's in the title. Like, can this woman just stop it with the aeroplane metaphors? No, I really like the aeroplane metaphors. So if you haven't seen this already, you can go, after you've watched this, go and watch my video on YouTube about the commercial velocity map, because there are 4 distinct modes that travel companies may be in, and taxiing is one of them. So in one axis, you've got your direction, and your direction is about the strategy you've got, your ideal client fit, and everyone in the company has to understand the strategy and how it helps them decide what to do and what not to do. And then in the other direction, you've got your speed, and speed is all about the skills that you need in your commercial teams, so sales skills, negotiation skills, but really importantly, understanding this industry, the hotel industry, because it's the kind of industry where you can't just decide to sell into, you have to really understand it. And when you don't have either of those things quite there just yet, your company's over here in taxiing. So you could still be working really hard over here and using a lot of energy, but you're not quite getting where you need to go because you need to define your direction and then get the skills that you need to have to start selling into hotels. So without further ado, let me introduce Daniel Ajeme, who is from Eccobell. Hi, Daniel. Morning.
Hi, Emily. Morning. Thanks for having me.
Oh, I'm very happy to have you. So we're going to discuss how you moved your company on from taxiing and into selling into hotels. So Daniel, do you want to introduce yourself first and what Eccobell does?
Thank you. I'm Daniel, co-founder at Eccobell. We're building this intelligent MCP layer for modern hospitality, essentially giving hotel tech a brain, so staff can focus on delivering, a super great guest experience. So today, hotels operate on 20 to 50 different fragmented systems. This makes it incredibly hard for them to deliver a consistent and personalized experience. So what we've done is build a platform with voice AI native to it, so you can just chat to it. That guests can understands guest intent and actually execute actions across this different and the vendors within the hotels in real time. So instead of a guest calling reception and then being put on hold and then transferred to a different department, they can simply just speak and things get done. Yeah, given a
Awesome.
5-star experience without the 5-star staffing and overloads and everything that comes with it.
Yeah, and that's really important because for hotels all over the world, they're feeling understaffed, and especially in those like front office roles and customer facing roles. Okay, so I met you back in October 2024 at the Independent Hotel Show. Can you tell me where Eccobell and where you were at that time and what things were feeling like then?
I think we're just coming off the back of closing our, pre-seed, our final bit of pre-seed for another time. So there was a bit of energy, there was belief in what we're doing. The product was in a good place. But just having a bit of clarity and a lot more understanding about the hotel space was the missing piece, in that puzzle. How hotels buy, the real decision makers, what they truly care about were the things that we couldn't really place our hands on. And it was a tricky place to be with a lot of energy, but executing the right direction is really important as well when it comes to sales.
Yeah, definitely. I remember you said something like it feels like we finished one race because we got the funding and that was a lot of work. And then, like, oh, now the next race has to start because we actually have to get the product out in front of hotels.
Yeah.
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 So we started working together to get all of that aligned for you. Why did you choose to work with me?
So clarity. I mean, we didn't need more of energy. We just needed to understand a bit more. And from the first time we spoke, I think we could see the structure and the perspective you could bring for us. We're a startup, right? It's a train crash every other day. There's something going on, and a bit of structure, would help. And we were in that position where we're transitioning from, you know, where it's Ben and I doing a lot to now having a bigger team and being able to bring in more people, especially on the sales front, and having a bit more structure around how that was going to work, how we're going to communicate, and this is what we saw from the beginning is you have the experience, you've been there, having worked with IHG and the rest, and you understand the hotel space a whole lot more. So yeah, that was what we're looking for, is a bit more clarity and structure, and we saw that in you.
Nice. And we had a lot of fun working together. Or at least I did. I really enjoyed working with you guys because you
We
brought a lot of
did,
energy to
we
my week
did.
as well.
Yeah.
So what do you think was the most impactful thing that we did in the time that we were working together to help you get your product in front of hotels?
Without doubt, I'd say understanding, the value proposition to the different stakeholders. But first of all, understanding what the stakeholders look out for. So the key KPIs within the hotel space, from GSI, that's the guest satisfaction index, to the revenue metrics, to loyalties, all of those things are really important. But this also ties in with how we position the products to them. So at the time, we were approaching groups, and then closed groups, and then it trickles down to the GMs, and then to the reception staff. And it's positioning ourselves to have conversations with every single one of the stakeholders within that chain. From the groups, how do we talk to them, to the GMs, what's more important to them, that would make them want to onboard this, and less friction. And then to the reception staff, what's going to make them promote this, and talk to guests about this, and get them to use this product to solve their problems. So I'd say yes, understanding the KPIs within the hotel space, understanding how to put the value proposition ahead to those different stakeholders is really, really important. And it's also helped us post sales as well, in keeping that communication going, and how we talk to these different groups as well, and still position value, um, even with development as well. On the back of it, when we have a new product, we think about it from the value proposition, and who's going to embrace this more, and how do we bring this new feature to life? Who's going to be the champion of this new feature? Is it going to be the GMs? Is it going to be the reception staff? And what is the value to them? How does this solve their problems? How does this the metrics you're looking out for, guest satisfaction or the revenues, how does this solve those key problems, and how do we position this for them?
Yeah. I spent about a decade in B2B hotel contracting, so trying to speak to hotels and get deals signed with them. And I remember it just felt like, why is this taking so long? And then when I hopped over to the other side and worked with IHG, it became apparent that it's partly about communication, it's partly about understanding what they want, and it's also just that hotels have so much going on because they're running the product. They haven't made cans of Coca-Cola that they're trying to sell. They're
Yeah,
literally running a hotel and speaking to guests. And your product's interesting because the hotel is the client for you, but also the
yeah,
guest is the end user and the client that needs to find it useful as well. So you've got that extra layer of stuff to think about.
absolutely. B2B2C, yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So what's happened with Eccobell since then?
Wow. I mean, we've onboarded new hotels since that time. And also, so we've sold to new hotels, and we've also onboarded. And the important part is helps the onboarding process, as I mentioned. So when you close on a group level, then you have to still speak to the GMs, and then still speak to reception staff, because this is the chain that gets it down to the customer. And the
Mm,
GMs are the ones that are going to get onboarded on their sites, and then the reception staff are the ones that are going to sort of champion it, get the guests to use it, shout a bit more about what it can do and how it solves problems. So we've been able to understand how to communicate with all of these groups, and then onboarded a bit more hotels. But another shift has happened where we've moved towards partnerships now. So rather than going direct sales, we're now working with other builders within the hotel space. So we have a language model, and we have a semantic layer with that. And we're working with other AI builders within the space, other guest apps as well. But it's communicating value to them as well. So we've
mm,
taken a lot from what we've learned through this process, and we've been able to apply that to how we speak to these different stakeholders within the hotel space, and we're able to communicate value to them as well, in terms of what the product brings, what the product offering is, how this combines with what they currently have, and helps deliver even a better experience to their customers, the hotels and the guests in return as well. So a whole lot has happened from, onboarding customers and closing new customers, but also to partnerships and expanding massively through partnerships for communicating the right value to these partners.
Yeah, it's all about perspective. Like that's what I think, is putting yourself in the other person's shoes rather than selling them the thing we want to sell. It's like, how do we put ourselves in their shoes and understand what they're going to get from it?
Absolutely.
And that helps us adapt how we speak to them and do everything. Yeah,
Yeah.
awesome. So last question from me. Who would you recommend to work with me and why?
I recommend everybody. But you know what? Yeah, to be very precise, I think more on a C-suite level, on a founder level as well. I mean, if you're going through a process where you're either stuck with sales or you just need a bit of restructuring, right? Um, yeah, that's where you come in. You would help a lot in giving a bit more structure to the business. You'd help a lot in having a bit more clarity. So I'd say on the founder level, I'd say speaking more with, C-suite. I'd say, of operational officers within the hotel space rather as well. Yeah, that's what I recommend.
Thank you so much. And if people want to find you, where should they go to find out more about Eccobell?
I mean, first of all, the website, that's your first bit of information. So eccobell.com, ECCOBELL.com. And also you can check us on LinkedIn as well. I mean, you'll find bits of resources we have around the sort of work we're doing, the theories we're putting forward as well. Just talking a bit more about what we're doing, you find that on LinkedIn, but the website is a good place. And you find us in hotels. We sell to hotels, so go in and use one of the hotels that's got our products, and you'd have a good experience with what we have to offer. You go experience it for yourself. Yeah.
Yeah, you have. When I heard, and this was a while ago, when I first heard the AI voice agent and how lifelike it sounded and what it could do, I was so impressed compared to other things that I'd heard. So, yeah, got to be seen to be
Yeah,
believed.
it is not just about it speaking, it's about it being clever and being smart and being able to perform actions as well. A lot of people are translating or transitioning rather from chatbots to voice agents. It's also about having a model that understands guests, that is specific to the hospitality space, and that's what we've done at Eccobell with HLM, the hospitality language model, is bringing a language model that understands a whole lot more about guest intent, guest nuances, can perform actions. It's been trained on over 500,000 data sets. It's very specific to the hotel space. So it's super smart for the hotels.
Mm.
Yeah, go experience it, man. It would be good for people to experience it.
Putting intelligence into artificial intelligence.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. Thanks, Emily.
Thanks so much for joining me today, Daniel. Hope
No
everyone has
worries
a
at
great
all.
week. Take care.
Take care.